Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. I'm Dylan. Joining me as always are Ben, Cam, and Zach. And this week we watched the 2000 Christopher Nolan film Memento.
And on next week's episode, we're gonna watch
Memento because we've never seen it.
I think we just do the whole podcast in reverse order. Maybe we start with trivia.
That would be a meme and a half. To kick things off and get everybody in the right mood, we're going to go to this week's cocktail. The chocolate amnesia. Because amnesia is a theme of the movie, memory loss. And it's a specific type. I forget what it is.
Well, it's not memory loss. It's that he can't form new memories.
Well, it's called anterograde amnesia.
Yeah.
So that's the specific type. It's the loss of ability to create new memories after the event that caused amnesia.
Is that a real thing? Like, is there like many?
Yeah, I don't know about many, but there's it's got a Wikipedia page. This isn't the first time we've recorded this.
Every day we get on and record the same episode just to make you feel at home.
You know, I started to think that was what was happening in the film, which we can discuss.
Well, we're not there yet,
no, but
we're doing it backwards.
That's right. Let's discuss the ending now, and then we'll discuss the beginning at the end.
The chocolate amnesia is a spinoff of White Russian. I think this is like our third White Russian spinoff now, but it's 2 fluid ounces of vodka, 2 fluid ounces of coffee-flavored liqueur, and 4 ounces of chocolate milk. Me being an adult, I don't have chocolate milk at my house, so
boo.
I think actually being an adult is having whatever you want in your house. So as an adult, I proudly have chocolate milk in my house. So fuck you. If I want to eat gummy bears for dinner, I'm gonna fucking do it. All right. I mean, I don't. But I could and I would if I wanted to.
I could eat.
Look, if Cameron wants to eat Daddy's little gummies for dinner, he's gonna eat Daddy's little gummies for dinner.
Doesn't matter who's daddy either. Anybody's daddy. Nobody's daddy's safe.
Jeez.
Cam's a gummy gobbler.
It's not what I was really going for here, but alrighty then.
Oh, wow. That was something.
Welcome to the end.
I semi-randled this one. I made hot cocoa with like some Starbucks hot cocoa powder and then just used that like a chocolate milk basically and shook it up, and it's good. I don't know if I'm missing or gaining anything either way, but it's good. It's a nice spin on the White Russian, and the chocolate just adds that little bit more that you don't really get with the White Russian. Because in honesty, a White Russian just kind of tastes like a milkshake, you know? So it's like a chocolate milkshake.
Yeah, I also don't own chocolate milk. I went to use store brand hot chocolate. I'm not gonna fucking name drop Starbucks like some bougie asshole.
Like they're paying us?
I bought it from Costco. So
this is a working man's podcast, Dylan. I don't know if you understand that. So the only difference is I added in a hot chocolate mix to like mix in with the drink at the end, and I regret not shaking it because it just did not mix well. But in the future, would do it that way where I would make it and then kind of shake everything together on ice and then just kind of strain over ice. Because, this way, it was still good. I enjoyed it. I didn't get a ton of the chocolate flavor. I did add a couple dashes of chocolate bitters, though. So that kind of helped bring out a little bit more of the chocolate.
Yeah, I tried to do it cold at first, and I was like, this isn't mixing. Shit. So then we have like an espresso machine, so I like steamed it and got it to melt. It's just gonna sound super bougie the more I.
Dylan, I know my Starbucks hot chocolate into my espresso machine.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
I used the coffee liqueur that you got me, Cam, from Ypsilanti or not
Ann Arbor Distilling Co.
Ann Arbor Distilling Company. Yeah, Spalding's coffee liqueur.
It's very good stuff. Yeah.
Did you drink it out of your solid gold cup? Money
No,
bags.
it's just glass.
No, it's a locally sourced cup made from recycled materials.
He would tell you the name of the store, but you've never heard of it before.
It's not.
They don't let anyone in.
It's called Walmart.
It's not extravagant. Actually, I think I got these from Goodwill.
Yes, of course.
Yes, I did.
Guys, I heard at thrift stores across the country there's a rapid rise in the amount of inventory of 60s and 70s Pyrex.
Wonder why. We'll just leave that open for interpretation to the audience as a question. Why might that be?
Yes.
Also, Yankee Candle scent complaints are up.
Wonder why. They don't smell like anything. Weird.
I can't taste this bougie hot chocolate.
I can't smell your Yankee Candles. I can't smell anything anymore, actually.
It's better when you're eating ass, though.
I mean,
Makes
I imagine
your ass
that would
taste
only
better?
help-
Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
Or does it help you with the acquired taste part?
But then you
Yeah.
can't taste or smell. The two worst parts about it.
Have you guys ever seen the videos of people just like eating raw onion? They'll just be like butt chomping
I
into
was
a raw.
not sure
No,
where
now
you were going with it at all.
No.
You guys see the
Are you
videos where Dylan sends you?
The
He just
branch
eats
off
people.
topic from that thought that was going somewhere
Oh, the
very
taste and
different.
smell, you know.
Are you
like,
You
talking
guys
about
ever
like the?
seen those videos?
Are you talking about like
Well,
the TikToks where people would just like eat them and be like, "I have COVID and I can't taste it anymore."
Yeah, so they'll like eat a raw onion like an apple.
This has been going on for so long that I've watched people stitch their year-old videos where they're like now in tears crying because they can't taste anything, but they were laughing about it when they were eating an
Oh
onion.
my god.
It's getting
After a
real
year,
sad,
that's
which
rough.
is fucking hilarious.
That's rough. That's bad.
Check the show notes below. Hit up the Drizzly and Casker links. Make yourself a chocolate amnesia.
If you can't taste it, go to the hospital.
Yes. Maybe get a COVID test or two.
Unless they're full in your area.
Good luck getting one though.
True. Apparently, they're going to come to your door at some point.
Yeah, insurance has to pay for it now. I think.
Yeah.
PSA, I guess.
Memento is a 2000 mystery thriller, I guess.
Yep.
It's like a drama film thriller, directed
Yeah.
by Christopher Nolan, written by Christopher Nolan, based on the short story by Jonathan Nolan. Stars Guy Pearce, Carrie Ann Moss, Joe Pantoliano.
Yep.
Pantoliano.
Yep.
You got it.
He looks so familiar, but he hasn't actually been in that much I've seen besides like The Matrix.
I mean, I think part of that is that, and my wife pointed this out, is he's basically a Walmart Brad Pitt.
No, that's Guy Pearce.
No, that's yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Who are you talking about?
Joe.
Teddy.
Oh, okay.
Teddy,
okay.
yeah.
He's another one of those character actors that I feel like he's in a lot. You just might not recognize him from stuff.
Yeah, I think he
But
was in The
he's someone that was
Sopranos.
in-
Sopranos for a bit.
Yeah, he's someone that was in like a shit ton of movies I watched as a kid, but then not things that I think other people would have watched.
I can't believe Ben's going to sit here and take that Guy Pearce slander.
Also,
I mean, Guy
yeah,
Pearce is a Walmart Brad Pitt. I mean,
check your
apparently
fucking
Brad
shit at the
Pitt-
door, bud.
apparently Brad Pitt was supposed to be this guy, but he couldn't due to scheduling conflicts, so they got this guy instead.
So they got Guy Pearce, who's also a phenomenal actor.
They got the Brad Pitt at home, but the Brad Pitt at home is
Doug,
Guy
I think a
Pearce.
lot of people are going to disagree with the fact that you were just slandering Guy Pearce.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
really
know.
good in LA Confidential.
He's phenomenal in LA Confidential. He's also mediocre in Iron Man 3.
He's really good in this movie, though.
Yeah, he
he was
plays
decent in this movie.
he plays a really good not remembering anything.
Yeah.
Oh god, I was supposed to
Ben, you're
remember
just
my
gonna sit
line
here and take that Guy Pearce slander?
I can't believe it. Man, that's just such a shame.
I do think Brad Pitt would have done very well in this movie as this role. Like, it feels very kind of similar to Fight Club, like a little bit. But like I don't know, like it's kind of like a frantic
the way he
like,
looks.
No,
Yeah, the fact that he's a super thin blonde guy.
not just that. I don't know. I
Takes
just
his
feel
shirt
like
off?
like
He forgets
both of these movies kind of have like high energy. You don't really know what the fuck's going on half the time, type of thing. You know, where it's like, what's gonna happen next? I don't know. I just feel like they have similar vibes.
Sure, I guess.
All right.
Speaking of the Matrix, Trinity is also in this movie.
Yeah, I know. I was like, hey,
I recognize a lot of people
they
from
were
this
both
movie,
in this
actually. like her. Georgia Fox was in CSI. She
Yep.
was
Yep.
Leonard's wife.
Stephen
Yeah.
Tobolowsky.
I mean, he's in a lot of random bit roles.
I know. I remember him mostly from Silicon Valley.
Ned.
Yes, he's also in Groundhog Day.
Yep.
Wow, oh my god. I did not
Yeah.
realize that. Well, he doesn't speak in this movie, really, I feel like. Besides the, like, ow.
I'm sorry.
No, not really.
I'm sorry.
Thomas Lennon, who's famous for being in like Reno 911. He's in a ton of stuff. Mm-hmm. He plays the doctor.
Yeah, I noticed
okay.
that.
He
I was
looked
like, that's
familiar.
a weird little part for him.
Bunch of little howdy doodies in this movie.
Memento currently sits at an 8.4 out of 10 on IMDb, making it the number 55 top-ranked movie on IMDb's Top 250. It was nominated for 2 Oscars, Best Writing, Screenplay written directly for the screen, and Best Film Editing. Interesting that it was not an adaptation, since it was based off that short story, and it's the story of a man with a short-term memory loss as he attempts to track down his wife's murderer. Had anyone else seen this film before?
Yeah.
Ben, big Guy Pearce fan. Of course he's seen it.
Yeah, I think I remember watching this. I mean, it was not something I'd seen like early on. I think I saw it probably at some point when I was in high school. I think I remember watching it.
I think that's when
Just
I watched
because
it
I
as well.
remember hearing a lot about it, and obviously with Nolan directing like the Batman movies, was like, oh, this is one of his first movies, you got to see it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a watch. So I had seen it before. Ironically, as we talked about people that have been in other stuff, I feel like there's quite a few actors in this movie that Christopher Nolan kind of went back to for other roles, especially like in Batman. Like I know Bert, the guy working the hotel front desk. I guess it's a motel, right? Because the doors are on the outside. He was like Detective Flask at least in Batman Begins. I don't remember if he's in the other 2 in the series or not.
I don't think so.
And the guy who plays Jimmy is also in Batman Begins, interestingly enough. But yeah, I think that was kind of one of the things that was like, after watching those movies, I'm pretty sure reading on the internet that everyone was like, oh, you've got to see Memento. And then I remember there being the big thing of once Christopher Nolan was announced to be directing the next Batman movie, that people shared the clip of this movie when Guy Pearce's character is leaving and you see like the comic book store across the street.
Yeah, and it's got the Batman stuff.
Yeah, like it's some sort of giant clue because people are stupid.
Well, everybody was told before, but they don't remember.
Right.
Oh, that makes sense.
The memory thing. Yeah, I think I saw it like high school or early college. I remember one of my college roommates was very super Chris Nolan fanboy. So, yeah, it's honestly, I think it might be my favorite Christopher Nolan film. I think it's his best. I think it gets a lot of praise for its non-linear story, which
yeah, I mean that's kind of the shtick, right?
Yeah, that's his thing. Well, I mean, just Nolan in general, him and his brother. That's their
But Tenet kind of has this very. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but that's another movie where they kind of play around with timelines a lot.
Yeah, Dunkirk as well.
But yeah, like in Tenet, things are happening forward and backward at the same time, and in this one, it's kind of similar, but a little different.
That's all right.
Tenet,
you can talk about.
How can you blame?
I mean, I'm not talking about the plot. I mean, that's just kind of like what
Palindromes are the plot.
I mean, legit it is, but it's not like like that's just a theme. But no, I think if you tell this story in regular order, it's not interesting, right? Like it would lose all of its uniqueness if you tell it in chronological order.
I did or used to have the there's a special edition of the DVD where you can actually play it in chronological order.
Oh, okay.
I never watched it in chronological order because I feel like it would, like you said, it would probably suck.
Kind of ruins it. I mean, it maybe helps you understand the plot more if you didn't quite get it like the first go around, but I didn't think it was like too dense where I think that if you watch it and you're actually watching it, not just like in the background, I feel like you can put 2 and 2 together by the end of the film.
Yeah,
Well, so
this
much
is
of the-
definitely not a movie that you just kind of like
Put on
turn
the
on
background.
and then check on your phone and do whatever and then be like, okay, yeah, I know what's going on, because you will not know what's going on.
You'll be just as confused as this dude.
Yeah.
One thing I do like about the way it's told is that it, like, when it goes back, it comes all the way up to the start of the next scene, and you hear
Yeah.
that line, and you're like, oh, wow, it's like all tied together. And I think that's one thing I like, but it does get a bit old of the constant going back,
Yeah.
like 15 minutes, 30 minutes every time, and I'm like, okay, all right, let's just get a little plot here.
Yeah. Sometimes I think there are some vignettes where it's just like, can we go forward? Like, I don't really need to know this part. Can we just go forward to the next part so I can figure out what's going on?
I think some of them though.
But how
I mean,
do you
I think
know?
they do have very specific breaks points for a lot of them for very specific reasons. You know, like we see the story of Natalie coming in and being like, "Oh, Dodd hit me. You need to go take care of him." And then it's very intentional that it starts there because the next scene before is like, "I'm going to manipulate you. Your wife's
God,
a
that was
whore.
so
You're not going to
fucked.
remember me doing this, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to get you to do what I want you to do, and you're not going to remember it. And I'm going to take all these pens and put them in my purse so you can't write it down." And then, you know, and then we get to the scene where she comes in, you know? And so I think, like, I get that. Like, I don't know, it might be repetitive after a certain point in time, but I mean, it's definitely intentional where those breaks are.
I think for me, a lot of it's with Dodd.
What do you mean?
Like, I just feel like they cut, like, so many times through what he's going through with Dodd.
Well, I mean, I think it's important because he doesn't really know why he did that. And also, I don't know. I mean, I
know,
get what
but
you're
I feel
saying.
like you could have done it just at the point where, like, he's running through being chased, but, like, it's like we do the scene with the bottle where he doesn't realize he's drunk. And then we flash backwards, and then we flash backwards into when he's running. And then we flash backwards again. It's like, I feel like we could have done this in one. Like, I feel like this didn't need to be two separate vignettes. Or, like, 3 separate vignettes. Like, we could have just done this in 1 or 2.
Yeah, I feel like one of my main complaints is I feel like you could have tightened the story a little bit or like condensed it, because I do feel like there are some, like, not necessarily repetitive, but like, I mean, when you understand the gimmick, it kind of feels a little repetitive in that sense. It is kind of funny, like, realizing when, like, as things are happening, like, you're like, oh shit, because I had like that total, like, mind blown moment when Natalie's character, like, she becomes that manipulative person.
Yeah.
Because, like, as she took the pens, I was like, oh, that was weird. And then they start to, like, argue a little bit. I was like, oh, fuck, he actually hit her. And that was, like, the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
you slowly piece it together in your mind as things are happening.
I mean, even when she's talked about the fact with, like, her boyfriend, Jimmy, he went to go meet a guy, and then it's like, oh, wait, okay, what's going on? And then once you get to what happens with Jimmy, when you're like, oh, Jesus, okay, well, this makes a lot more sense now.
And that's why she thought he was Jimmy, because he had his clothes on, and it was in his car. And
Yeah.
Right.
it
Which
all
is obviously not Jimmy, but
yeah, it all starts to piece together as you go through it, and then the two storylines finally meet at one point, because
yeah.
you have the black and white phone call and tattooing himself storyline, but which is told
It
chronologically.
goes into color. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's told in chronological order, and then you have the other one going backwards until they finally meet.
Near the end, yeah. Near the end of the film.
It's even confusing
near
just
the end
trying
of
to
the story.
explain it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're listening to this and you haven't watched the movie, I am so sorry because you're not going to understand.
So
what we're
basically, the
talking
movie's about this guy named Sammy. And Sammy, his wife, needs a lot of insulin. So she sits there and she reminds Sammy, like every 15 seconds, to give him an insulin shot. And Sammy does that, and then the movie ends.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting device to tell the story backwards and forwards at the same time, but you're not really, like it becomes obvious pretty clearly what the pattern of the movie is, you know, especially because he uses that black and white and then color to contrast the two. I do think I think it's very satisfying at the end where they do come in the middle and meet, like you said, where it starts black and white and then it just kind of fades into color, you know, like in the story, which I thought was cool.
Well, it's interesting because it's a classic thriller story told in a different way, but you still get that payoff, even though you've already seen what happens. You know what happens.
Well, you know
the
end,
outcome.
but
Yeah, you know the outcome of the thriller, but then it's like you still get that big payoff, knowing
that's the interesting
origin.
bit, is that the outcome of the in chronological order, the outcome is not the interesting part, right? Like the interesting part of the movie is not he kills Lenny, right? Like the interesting part.
It's not the destination. It's how we got there.
It's the exact middle point where he decides.
It's the journey.
I think
the
this
interesting
movie,
point, of course, is like where he decides himself that he is going to make himself forget about the whole thing, and he's going to basically focus on killing Lenny because he's been being used by Lenny for like a year.
well,
Ted.
Teddy.
Teddy.
He is
yeah.
Lenny.
No, see, I think
That's right,
I think this movie's like you don't get the pleasure from seeing the picture because you've seen the picture on the box. You get the pleasure from putting that last puzzle piece in.
Yeah. Of like why did he kill him, basically.
Yeah. Like why is he killing Teddy? And then he's like, "Oh." Well, and I don't even know that it's because he's being manipulated. I feel like it's because in his mind, like Teddy is either Teddy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, so there's two parts, right?
Or
there's
he just
one
doesn't
where,
believe that he's actually killed the real John G. And then
well, it's both. It's
Yeah.
because in the moment near the end of the film, he's like, Teddy has wronged me, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm going
write
to
down his
tattoo
license plate.
his license plate. So I will eventually hunt him down and kill him because he wronged me. Later on, of course, like when he's actually killing him, he doesn't know that Teddy wronged him in that way, and that he's been using him, which I think, I don't know, like I said, is interesting. But it's like he basically makes a conscious decision in the moment to go after Teddy instead.
But also just his like the fact that Teddy is in fact a John G is just like such good setup.
Yeah.
Like, because now it makes
Right.
everything fit.
And that kind of ties.
I mean,
into
hell,
a lot
for
of
Christ's
the,
sake, my name is John G. Then it's like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah. And that kind of ties into a lot of because like one of his overarching themes is that even if he doesn't remember them, his actions are important, right? And
Yeah.
so like his action to get that tattoo of the license plate was important, even if he didn't remember the original cause of it, right? Was important because it still had an impact and it still mattered, even if he doesn't remember why it did.
Not just that, but just like, that feeling of like everything falling into place in that last scene where you're like, oh, why is Teddy so concerned about the fact that Lenny parked his car out front? Oh, wait, because it's not his car, it's stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like so many of those things where it's like the glass break where like now everything makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like this is a movie you have to watch twice.
Which I feel like you need to watch it in succession, or at least close to, because I definitely had a like reliving the movie moment, because seeing it so long ago, it's been at least 8 years. I definitely was like, I kind of know where it goes, but like piecing it together all over again was a lot of fun. But it would be interesting. I noticed this time around that bird at the motel, another one of those things that you kind of catch was when he he's talking to Lenny for like the first time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you don't remember anything, right?" And he's telling him about his thing. He's like, "It's all backwards, man." Like, and I was like, "Hey, wait a second,
It's the
little
movie.
Easter egg about the movie."
By the way, here's your second room.
What a dick!
I love the
I mean,
fact
at
that he
least
just
was on it.
straight up tells him, like, yeah, the
Yeah.
boss wanted to increase revenue, so I just decided to charge you a second room. Well, at least you're honest with me. And then just like,
And then he's like, "You won't remember this anyway. All right, you don't have to be that honest."
yeah. I think in watching this a second time, I definitely remembered. So obviously, we gave the spoiler warning.
Yeah.
I remembered the part that he's like killed however many people, that he's killed like John G so many times before. I did not remember like all of the parts with what is it Nina?
Natalie.
Natalie. I don't know why I thought Nina.
Trinity.
Yeah, I completely kind of forgot about her, like the whole arc of like Jimmy and Dodd and everything like that, where she kind of uses everything. The most important thing that I remembered from this movie was the whole like, yeah, Teddy's not John G. He's already killed the guy who killed his wife, like, and then he's done it several other times since. And now that he's killed Teddy, he'll probably just wake up tomorrow and do the same thing again.
Cam, does my Ben tattooing himself upside down reference make sense now? From last week?
Yes.
That's honestly the most memorable thing for me from this movie was when he first like looks at his shirt and like takes his clothes off and he's got all the tattoos that it's like the facts of the case and all this. And you're just like, oh
Yeah.
shit, this has been happening.
The ones
for
are
a while.
backwards because he knows he's only going to be able to read them in a mirror.
Yeah. And then like the one on his belly is like upside down. It's
Upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. I mean, I can't think of a movie like it. It kind of surprised me when you said Fight Club at the beginning, and that's probably it. Like, I can't think of anything else that's like this movie.
Fight Club is not even like similar. I would say the only like similar thing is the themes of like identity / memory, sort of.
I mean, like Fight Club spoilers, but I guess you don't exactly really know what's going on the entire time. I get that vibe from Memento, but I've never seen a movie where like they start the movie from the beginning and the end and tell you both stories at the same time. And then they meet in the middle and you get that Wizard of Oz shot where it goes from black and white to color. I thought that was dope.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely movies told in reverse order. Gaspar Noé's Irreversible is one.
Oh, I thought you were going with a
Gaspar
different
knows
title.
love too, yeah.
But I don't know of any
one's really
popular
told from the
movies
inside out.
that have. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just blanking on it, but I don't really know. I can't really think of any popular movies that have this style of.
I don't know of ones that tell the story
Telling.
like backwards and forwards at the same time. I know there's
The,
a lot
like,
of movies
parallel-
that do like non-linear. Like Pulp
Like
Fiction
Harry
does
Potter
a lot
and the
of
Prisoner of Azkaban.
No, like Pulp Fiction does like a lot of like non-linear storytelling where like you kind of end up finding one scene through another, you know. There's a scene with
That's true. Pulp
John
Fiction does start in
Travolta
the diner, right?
and- What?
Pulp Fiction starts in the diner, right?
Yeah.
Which is near
Well,
the end as well.
Yeah,
But
and
it-
even
but
then,
it
I mean,
then
like
goes
you see
To the beginning.
scene
and then
with-
goes-
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you see like the scene with John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson, and they're talking to Marcel Wallace, and they're dressed in like the short shorts, and you're like, what the hell's going on? We just saw them in suits like 2 minutes ago. You jump through another 20 minutes of movie, and then it's kind of explained why they're dressed the way they're dressed. Like, I feel like that's another like popular movie that kind of does a lot of.
Well, that's like
non-linear-
That's like the record scratch. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
Yeah.
Move, you know.
Yeah, but I mean it. Yeah, but it just.
but
it
Pulp
jumps
Fiction
all
is
over the
just
place.
disconjointed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's non-linear.
It's not.
I mean,
it's
and
very much
another
all over
one.
the place.
I mean, I already kind of talked about it, but another one kind of in the similar vein is Tenet, which obviously is also a Christopher Nolan film, but
Yeah.
that one is told legit backwards and forwards at the same time, but you don't realize it until later, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's Nolan and Tarantino love to do the like non-linear stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Reservoir Dogs is kind of the same way, and where it
Yeah.
tells you the story, but then pieces it together through like adjacent like cuts, and then I mean Dunkirk also kind of does the same thing where it plays with time a lot, and it'll be like, oh, this is happening, and then this is the end, and this is happening, and like all these different storylines. Um, yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting plot device. It kind of becomes your gimmick in a sense, in my eyes, though. It's almost like M. Night Shyamalan, how he became like the plot
The
twist
twist
guy.
meme. Yeah.
It's like,
Everything's
all right, it
got to
doesn't.
have some elaborate twist. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to play with the time all the time, guys. It's all right. You could have your one.
I mean, he
Your one
does
big
not
hit.
like in some he doesn't too. Like the Batman movies, he doesn't really do that. I don't think
no,
that much
I mean,
at all.
No, but I also
Those are
think
pretty
that's
linear.
a hard. I also feel like that's a comic book movies in general are a hard genre to do that type of thing. I
Yeah.
also feel like you don't. We talked about this with American Graffiti, where like a lot of those type of properties, you don't get to do. Like if Christopher Nolan would have pitched telling a Batman story in a non-linear, backwards and forwards way, he would have been kicked out, and they would have found someone else to direct the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Warner Brothers would have been like, I don't know about that, man.
Yeah. You know what? We're gonna hire someone else to write and direct this.
He's good at what he does. I just think him as a human, I also don't enjoy. Where it's like you
Oh.
can only watch movies on the big screen. If you watch my movie on an iPad, I want nothing to do with you. Like, sorry, that's how I watched this movie, Chris. My bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, film bros are gonna film bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Didn't someone come out and say that like? Who was it that came out and said something along the lines of millennials are killing movies because they?
That
Ridley
was what's
Scott?
his face because it was
Yeah,
Ridley
Ridley
Scott
Scott.
because he's mad that the last.
Also,
Duel
I've heard
bombed.
Christopher Nolan doesn't like it if you sit on his set. That was another meme like
What?
recently.
Really?
He doesn't like people to sit on set.
That's bizarre.
Like he wants you to stand for 12 hours at work.
I feel like that's being a douche just for the sake of being a douche.
I think they're all
Yeah,
like that.
Just-
Like the
just
like
stand the whole time.
the savant directors are kind of like that. Like I've heard David Fincher will fire you if you wear red on set.
That's silly.
Yeah.
Man, I
No,
kind of want to get a
these-
job on a David Fincher set just to see if it's true.
It does annoy me when these people like it's like, okay, you produce great works, right? But it's like, can you be a normal fucking human being for like 5 seconds in your goddamn
man.
life? Like there had to have been a certain point where David Fincher would not have fired someone. Like he couldn't have, right? Like he wasn't big enough to fire someone for wearing a red shirt. You know, at some point in his career, he was like, okay, now's the point where I can fire someone wearing a red shirt. You know,
he's like
or
a-
like Nolan's like, now's
He's
the
like
point
a
I can
bull.
fire someone.
He just really hates the color red.
It's just ridiculous to me that these people are like, oh, I'm such a great famous director that I can just get away with like, you know, worker abuse on set, which is such bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah, Quentin
makes me mad.
Tarantino's like, everyone has to not wear shoes or socks on my sets. Get over yourself.
Also, I'm gonna come on screen and say the N-word one time, and then I'm gonna get off.
What was the last thing Carrie Ann Moss has been in besides The Matrix? Because I feel like I haven't seen her in a long time. And then I just watched the new Matrix.
The
and then
Matrix
this.
Resurrections.
Well, yes. I said besides the new Matrix.
Oh, she was in Jessica Jones. Looks like I remember now that I see it on her Wikipedia page. She was in.
Yeah, I remember her being in this thing now that someone's telling me she was in it.
Wait,
Well,
she was in
I haven't seen
Disturbia?
Jessica Jones in a while, but I guess
Was she his mom or something in Disturbia?
she was in Silent Hill, the movie. It was kind of weird because I feel like she was very big, obviously, after The Matrix came out. I mean, that's why she landed this role, is her being in The Matrix. But she didn't really do much in the 2010s.
Yeah, she plays Shia LaBeouf's mom in Disturbia.
Oh, I didn't know that. She also voices Arya T'Loak in Mass Effect. Huh. That's cool.
Yeah, I totally know that.
Look, I'm just saying at least one other listener of the pod out there will get that reference.
Yeah,
and
our
appreciate
biggest
it. So you
listener
gotta
is
keep
going
it
to
in.
love it.
One of our biggest listeners is going to love it because he also likes Mass Effect like I do.
Loves.
I bet he
loves
gets
it.
a half chortle out of it.
If he listens to this episode.
I'll tell him to listen to this one because there's one reference in it that he has to do. It'd be a complete meme if you took that out and then he listened to the whole thing and he's like, what the fuck were you talking about?
We're going to hit some ads. We're going to come back. Zach's going to take us to trivia. You know we love saving the turts. You know Cam hates fucking paper straws.
Paper straw song. I will say that paper straw technology has improved since I last shat on paper straws. I have used a couple since I've been able to go out more recently due to being vaccinated. And
That's what they were doing the whole time while we were inside. They were just inventing better paper straws.
I have seen also not paper straws, but it seems like they're compostable plastic straws or something. Like
You're talking about the
like,
ones
they
that
feel
are made out of
different.
like agave or whatever.
I have no idea what the composition of these straws are. I'm just, but they are different.
I'm not
than
a
the
straw
normal ones you
expert.
see. But you're the expert, Dylan.
But I do know a good glass straw when I see one, you know?
Yes. I will say for being at home and where you know, maybe you like straws in your fruity margaritas or you like straws to mix with your, you know, old fashions or whatever. You know, having these straws around the home is really nice. No, not constantly like throwing things away, or you don't have to keep buying straws all the time. Like you just buy a couple and then you're good.
And if you want cocktail picks or muddlers, they have that too. There's many colors. He's getting into like designs. So like the pride flag, he puts it on like the side of the straw. He's got hearts. He's got critters. It's like you get a piece of art along with a straw. Little multi-use.
Oh yeah, he has critter straws, which have see a dolphin, a salamander. That salamander looks intricate. That is impressive.
Grab some glass straws from Surfside Sips. Use promo code cocktails and classics spelled out for 20% off. We get a little kickback from that, and you get to save some money on some glass straws, and they should last you a long time. Dishwasher safe. They're pretty sturdy. Just don't drop them on the floor like me, like a big idiot. You have to buy more. A little bit of tradition around here is Zach takes over and leads us through some trivia. What do you got for us on Memento?
All right, guys. Question number 1. Teddy's driver's license expires on what date? A. February 29th, 2001. B. March 32nd, 2001. Or C. April 31st, 2001.
On a leap year? Well, that's not 2001 isn't a leap year, is that?
No. But maybe that's the meme.
Maybe that's the meme. Yeah.
Like, is that it's a date that doesn't exist.
Right. So is that April and then what was the middle one?
February 29th, March 32nd, or April 31st.
Oh, so these are all made up days. Okay. The 32nd makes literally no sense, right? Like, and April 31st is not a real date either. And neither is the leap year date. So none of them make any sense.
Well, but I think they went with the leap year date just for the shiggles, you know? Because it's like it's still a real day. It's
a potential real day, but
it
not
just
in that
didn't
year.
actually happen.
Just not in this timeline.
Now
In
we're
a
going
different
into something
timeline in the
deeper.
multiverse. This is also connected to the multiverse somehow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to say February. I'm going to say April 31st, though, I think. I don't know why, but I'm going to say April 31st.
I don't know. In my head, I can swear I remember seeing something that said RUARY when they showed the picture of his license plate, so I'm pretty sure it's February.
Ben's going with the partial short-term memory archive retrieval. And it pays off. It is February 29th. None of those dates exist. That was the meme.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Which of the following is not tattooed on Leonard's body? A. John G. killed my wife. B. She is gone. Or C. Memory is treachery.
I think it's A.
Is it the exact words?
I mean, that's why I picked A. Is that's not? I mean, maybe it's put somewhere else, but across his chest it says John
like
G. raped and murdered my wife.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be somewhere else where he just says John G. killed my wife.
Are we going for exact wording, Zach? Or are we paraphrasing?
Yes, those phrases tattooed on his body.
Right. So like, I mean, it could be something that could be somewhere else too, but that'd be kind of redundant. So I'm gonna say A. However, it is interesting to note that. Well, I guess it depends. You could philosophically say that he did because he caused the memory loss that caused the death, but he didn't really kill his wife. You know, like.
What?
Ultimately, well, Lenny did. Lenny killed his wife, his own wife.
He is. You mean Teddy?
No.
No, he means Leonard.
You mean Leonard
No,
killed
I mean
his own
Leonard.
wife?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
because he put her
Right,
into
but
a coma with
Jimmy
the
or
insulin.
John G did not kill Leonard's wife. Leonard killed his own wife on accident because of the whole insulin thing.
If you believe what Teddy says.
I think you got to at that point, right? Like, I think he laid it all out on the table at that point in time. I don't know. In my opinion, that's like, in my interpretation, that's what it is. I don't know.
I'm gonna also say A because it is not the exact phrasing.
Yeah, that was my guess too. Was A. Stood out to me because I know across his chest said John G. raped and murdered my wife.
Nobody bit. It is John G. killed my wife. You are correct. You did it. Oh,
Dumb question, Zach. That was garbage.
Sorry.
If you would have just like not answered me, I might have went with another answer. Like if you hadn't answered my clarification question.
Clarification?
Yeah.
I'll remember. Next time from now on, no clarifications.
No clarifications.
Even if I say the question wrong or one of the answers wrong, no clarifications. Question number 3. Teddy's phone number is 555-0234, 555-0124, or 555-0134.
I think it's C.
Could have sworn there was an 8 in there somewhere, but
I thought there
I'm
was
gonna
a
say
7.
C as well.
I hate you, Dylan. You picked every time. You pick my fucking answer every time. All right, Zach. What are the other 2 options?
I mean, we can go to a tiebreaker, Ben. The ability exists.
I mean, I in my head I want to say it was C, but
Does the ability exist?
Uh-oh, Zach.
I'm gonna go C just because Zach's not ready for the meme.
Well, it is C. It
Nice.
is 555-0134,
Nice.
which is the same number as Helena Bonham Carter's number in Fight Club.
Oh,
Fun little Easter egg.
Ben and I were the sweepers.
Sometimes you're the sweeper. The next week you're usually the swept.
The sweepy.
Sometimes you're
Yes,
the rug.
sweepy.
Other times you're the broom.
You sweep rugs? I feel like you should use a vacuum for that, bud. Just a thought.
Or
No,
No
like you
wonder
get
your
swept
rug
under the
doesn't
rug, I
get
guess?
clean.
I don't know.
Dylan put all of his money into Starbucks hot chocolate. Now he can't afford a fucking vacuum.
Oh, God.
I can't. I usually just take my rug out and slap it on the counter a couple times.
Wait. Take it out and slap it on the counter.
On the counter? Out to
Yeah.
where?
That's
On
it, Dylan.
my outdoor bar, of course, guys.
Dylan's outdoor kitchen. Closes without going over. How many days did it take to shoot Memento?
Oh, damn. I actually know or saw the answer to this one.
Well, I'm glad Cam's not in there.
Yeah.
It's like on the Wikipedia page.
Do I think it's...
Under the trivia section.
No, it's literally just like on the base trivia, or not trivia.
It's like the thing on the trivia, like the first thing you would see if you were at the bottom of the IMDb.
Yeah.
No, I just...
It's just on there. Like, I don't remember if it's like part of like the shooting or what section it's in, but it's like literally one of the first sentences in one of those settings or one of the things on Wikipedia. You don't have to dig anywhere to find it. It's like right there.
Do I think it's like a quick like indie budget, you know, where they're like doing it in 17 days or something, or do I think it's like a bigger production because it was so crazy and disorganized that they would have to take longer? I don't know. It's his second movie, so I'm gonna say something like 15 days. It wasn't a huge budget, and I think he planned it all out.
Oh shit. I was thinking in the 20s. I was thinking like 26, but I don't know how long movies take to shoot. You've an inherent advantage.
Is that your
As
final
long
answer,
as-
Ben?
As long
Yeah.
as they take.
Well, I think Ben's right without going over. I think it's 27, right? Or no? Was it shorter?
I got 25 on my end.
Oh, okay. Then
Oh,
you're probably right.
fuck me.
Never mind. I was wrong.
Guess it depends on what source we use. It's either 25 or it's 27.
I thought I just remembered 27, but I could have totally remembered it wrong from the
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
I got 25 here in front of me.
Okay, then you're probably right.
Which means Ben's a fucking loser.
God damn it.
Wow.
And
I
you know
feel-
what?
I feel bad for Ben. Ben had a much better guess. I'm sorry.
I fucking was one day over. This is bullshit.
Half of us hadn't seen this film, so you're gonna get a fresh rating from Cam and Zach. And
You-
Ben and I are gonna give you a
Hi.
little nostalgia and an updated rating, having not seen it for like 7 or 8 years. So Cam, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, I thought it was a somewhat interesting story told in a very, very interesting way. I think this movie does a very good job at keeping your attention for the full, I think it's only like an hour and 50 runtime, honestly. It's not very long. It kind of gets you thinking about the movie while it's happening, like what's going on, where's it going, and then finally like getting to piece everything together near the end. I think it has a really good payoff. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good. Very well done. I mean, if you argue that this is one of Christopher Nolan's best films, I think that that's a fair argument. I thought this was really, really well done.
Definitely Christopher Nolan's second best film.
What's his first best film? Dark Knight?
Yeah.
That makes sense. I think Dark Knight is really,
That
really
one's
good.
got better explosions. It's got bigger booms.
Bigger boobs?
Like Dark Knight is probably one of his better. Like it might legit be his best movie.
I'll come out and say it. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 too. I've never seen this movie before, and I knew nothing about it going in. And like 20 minutes into the movie, I was hooked. I'm like, all right, this guy doesn't know what the hell's going on. I don't know what the hell's going on. We're about to figure out what the hell's going on. There's a couple really good twists.
There's a lot going on.
There was a lot going on, and they told you different parts of it, which was cool. I still the whole like Wizard of Oz thing with the Polaroid at the end. It's black and white and it turns to color. That was awesome. That was like I paused it and I was like, they did it to me. They just did it to me.
They boomed you. They got
They
me.
boomed me. The story
He's
with
so
the
good.
insulin
He's so good.
and Sammy not really existing, and then discount Brad Pitt just deciding to be.
Yes.
He just decided he was gonna keep being like a John G. serial killer. Oh my god, there were pieces of this movie that didn't make sense, but I loved it. 8 out of 10.
I will say the opening scene with the Polaroid undeveloping is fucking
Yeah.
so good. Because at first you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, whatever, and then he shakes it and it like starts to go away a little bit. And you're like, okay, and then
Wait a minute.
like, slowly it like is undeveloped, and you're like, oh shit, it's back.
Hang on, this is backwards.
It's so funny, like that the Polaroid shaking has been a huge thing because you're not supposed to shake them,
Yeah,
but it's like in everything. People
Thanks,
shake them.
Outcast.
yeah. Literally, Outcast just ruined it for everybody.
I feel like it definitely was before that, but yeah.
I mean, after Hey Ya came out, Polaroid literally had to come out and say, "Do not shake the pictures."
That's funny.
Um,
And then they went bankrupt. Coincidence?
Yeah, so on IMDb, I had this as a 7 out of 10 going in, and honestly, I'm gonna bump it up to a 9. I really like this movie.
Quiet 9.
Quiet 9. It's interesting. Like we kind of said, like I don't know if I've ever seen another movie do the dual plot lines going in opposite directions, and I think this is, like I said, this is definitely Nolan's best movie in my opinion. It's just well done. It's kind of gritty and it's beautifully shot, but it's not really trying to be that in a sense. But like the movie is still gorgeous. It's got that mind fuck like twisty component to it, which I really enjoy. And I'm a sucker for thrillers. If a movie can really just like sink that hook and get you, kind of like Zach said, he was hooked after 20 minutes. I think this one does that really well, and makes me keep going with some of my gripes, like the semi-repetitiveness or the like longer runtime. I think it withstands the test of time, even though time is only 22 years from when it came out. So we'll see. Maybe I'll watch it again in another 8 years and see if it's still a 9.
Like Dylan, I had this movie at a 7 going into it. Coming out of it, I'm going to bump it up to an 8. Like Dylan said, being a thriller and it kind of hooks you. I'm also a sucker for a mystery movie. So even though it kind of like gives you stuff up front, the way it kind of unfolds the story the longer it goes through the movie was big for me. But some of the stuff, the repetitive nature of like we're going to jump forward and now, or we're going to be here and now we're going to jump back and tell you everything that's going on to catch you back up to this point. I just feel like there were some points where it was like, okay, we could have done this in like one vignette. I feel like at some points it was trying to stretch it to reach a runtime because they just didn't have enough. So like, okay, what can we do to kind of flesh this out a little bit more? Guy Pearce is really good. You know, I know a couple weeks ago I talked about Charles Martin Smith as a character actor. Joe Pantoliano's another one that's just one of those guys that like you'll see him and kind of recognize him but not know from where. And then when you go through his IMDb, you're like, oh my God, I remember this guy being in so many things.
First of all, he's Ralph Cifaretto and he's a piece of shit. So get that straight.
Well, first of all, he's Richie Valens' manager in La Bamba, so get that straight. Bob.
Yeah, but he didn't play that for 6 years.
I mean, no, but he played it before The Sopranos. Yeah, I just think it's a good movie. It's a good mystery. It's definitely kind of a mind trip. All in all, it's a good movie. I recommend it. If you've never seen it and you're a fan of like a thriller movie or a mystery, definitely check it out. It's more than worth the watch.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod. Send us your drink and movie recommendations. Tell us what you think of the chocolate amnesia. Check the show notes below to get that recipe. And hit up the Drizzly and Casker links because you can buy that alcohol delivered directly to your door. And we get a little kickback from it and you get some alcohol. Grab some Surfside sips. Check us out next week as we watch Requiem for a Dream, which is currently available on HBO. Share us with your friends and family, and as always, watch responsibly.